सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं परमानन्दमाधवम्। सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्त गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। So we are into this topic of ahankara, and in the last session we saw that Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji, the author, the guru, here says that this ahankara, number one, we have given reality to, and then because of its power it has taken control of our entire instrument. So body, mind, intellect is now belonging to that ahankara. Not only that, it has even captured the I-ness of the self and is posing himself as that I. Ahankare kartari, in this ahankara, who is the doer, aham iti matim sahasa muncha, and therefore we must give up this feeling of I-ness in this ego. Right? Verse number 305. Who is this ahankara? What kind of ahankara is this? Vikaratmani, which is continuously modifying, continuously changing. Atma prati phalajushi, which is always having the reflection of the self, reflection of consciousness associated with it. Swasthiti mushi. And that ahankara is the one who, what do we say, takes away, who kidnaps our own nature, swasthiti. So this ahankara has got a reflection of consciousness associated with it always. It is continuously changing and it has taken over our real nature. Therefore, in this ahankara, give up the feeling of I immediately. Sahasa muncha. How this ahankara has come? Yad adhyasat prapta. Now, this ahankara is posing as the self. This ahankara, by posing as self, creates so many things. What does it create? This adhyasa of self, of ego on the self, which has happened, that is the cause for samsritihi iyam. This samsriti, saṃsāra, is created because of this atma adhyasa, because of the ahankara adhyasa, aham adhyasa, right? And what is this samsāra? Jani, mriti, jara, dukkha, bahula. Lots and lots of sorrow because of birth, death, old age. You can add other things also, because of all our negativities, because of diseases, etc., etc. All that has come because of this aham adhyasa, because of ahankara posing as the self. Pratichaha chinmurtehe tava sukhatanoho. And all these samsara is for whom? For a person who is of the nature of existence, consciousness, bliss, who doesn't change, who is always the inner self. For such an individual, for such a self, suddenly this samsara has come because of aham adhyasa, because of adhyasa, superimposition of ahankara. That's what Shankaracharya says in the next verse also, that for such a person, sadeka rupasya chidatmano vibhoho anandamurtehe anavadya kirtehe avikarinaha te, for such you belong to this category, you are of this nature, you are of the nature of existence, consciousness, bliss, you are immutable, you are always one, non-dual. For you, aham adhyasam amushya samsritihi na eva anyatha ko api. Aham adhyasam vina, without this aham adhyasa, what is other cause for this samsara? So I am that self, but suddenly I have come to this miserable position where I am continuously suffering in this samsara. How this has happened? Because of aham adhyasa. Therefore, this aham adhyasa is the cause of even samsara, and therefore give it up. Samsara is to be given up, samsara is to be destroyed, isn't it? For that, give up this aham adhyasa. Now there, Shankaracharya gives one example, that aham adhyasa, this ahankara, is like thorn stuck in one's throat. Tasmad ahankaram imam swashatrum bhoktur gale kantakavat pratitam. Bhoktu, of the enjoyer, of the eater, gale, in the throat, kantakavat, like the thorn, pratitam, stuck there. So then what happens? Whatever I eat, even if I drink just water, that is going to cause pain. There is nothing wrong with the food that I am eating or the water that I am drinking, but the problem lies within me. And it is painful. It is continuously hurting, and therefore cut it out. Vichidya vijnana mahasinasputam. With what? With a sword of experience, vijnana, clearly having destroyed it, bhungshu atma samrajya sukham yateshtam. Then you enjoy the entire world with the sovereignty on the self. Now you have got the main thing. Now that ahankara which was creating problem is gone. Now you enjoy the world. Atma samrajya sukham bhungshva. You enjoy. Continues further. Tatohamader vinivritte vrittim. Now he says, now, careful. O seeker, careful. This is a new point. What? Even after destroying ahankara, don't give any attention, don't pay any attention, give any importance to its vritti, to its thoughts, to its modifications. Why? Because of paying attention to the vrittis, the ahankara will come back. It is gone, it is destroyed. But just because you are paying attention to the vrittis, it will come back. Samoola krittopi mahanaham punaha vilakṣaṇaḥ syāt yadi chetasakshanam. If in the mind you carry that vritti, that thought, even for a moment, it will come back. That ahankara will come back. Samoola krittahapi, even if you have uprooted it, mahan, it is strong, and therefore punaha vilakṣaṇaḥ. It will be revived again. Sanjivya, and then having come back, having been born again, vikshepa shatam karoti. It will create again hundreds of modification. Nabhasvata pravrishi varido yatha. Just like in the rainy season, the clouds have gone, but don't just believe that now rain is gone. Why? Because just with the wind, the clouds may come back. So be careful, be at it. Don't sit down and feel that okay, now done. No, don't pay attention. What do you mean by paying attention? Which is that thing which is reviving this ahankara? Now that is mentioned. Nigrihya shatroho ahamavakashah kvachinnadeyaha vishayanu chintaya. Once you have uprooted and destroyed, overpowered, conquered this Shatru, this enemy called called Ahankara, called ego, Kvachinna deha. Don't pay attention even for a moment to what? Vishaya anuchintaya. Vishaya anuchintana. Brooding over, thinking over it again and again. Over what? Over the sense pleasures. Vishaya. Vishaya anuchintana here also means Vishaya bhoga anuchintana. We generally don't brood over the objects. We don't think about the objects. We think about the pleasures that we have got through those objects. That is what we reminisce, isn't it? So don't do that. Why? Saha eva sanjivana heturasya. Because that alone is the cause of revival for this ego, for this ahankara. Prakshina jambira taroho iva ambu. Like the lemon tree which is totally dried up, but with the rain it comes back to life. So the ego which is even uprooted, with that Vishaya anuchintana, which is like a rain, it will come back. And then Sanjivya, having been born again, Vikshepa shatam karoti, again it will create hundreds of modifications and we will remain in samsara. That is the reason why this topic of Ahankara is taken for such a long period. Why? Because it comes back. It's a dangerous enemy. You destroy it once, the job is not over. Why? Because it will come back. So even after having destroyed, please pay attention that you are not feeding it by Vishaya anuchintana. That is what we have seen so far, right? Till verse number 310. Now we have to see verse number 311. What does he say now? See, how can you say that Vishaya anuchintana is the cause of revival of the Ahankara? Just because you said, should I agree? No, I will give you logic. Shankaracharya now gives logic how this Vishaya anuchintana revives the ego. Next verse, verse number 311. Dehātmanā saṃsthita eva kāmī. Vilakṣaṇaḥ kāmayitā kathaṃ syāt. ato'rthasandhānaparatvameva. bhedaprasaktyā bhavabandhahetuḥ. dehātmanā saṃsthita eva kāmī. vilakṣaṇaḥ kāmayitā kathaṃ syāt. ato'rthasandhānaparatvameva. bhedaprasaktyā bhavabandhahetuḥ. dehātmanā saṃsthita eva kāmī. Kāmī, a person who has desires, selfish desires. Kāmī, a desirous person. Such a person alone eva dehātmanā saṃsthita. Dehātmanā saṃsthita is associated, is living with the identification of the body. A desirous person alone lives with this identification with the body. Vilakṣaṇaḥ, one who is different from it, means what? One who doesn't have that kāma. Kāmayitā kathaṃ syāt. How can such a person be desirous or greedy? Means what? One who is associated with the identified with the body. Who is that? That is the person who has desires. One who doesn't have desires will not be associated with the body, or other way, one who is not identified with the body will not have any desires. So kāma and deha adhyasa will go together. Only a person who has desires will have identification with the body, and using the body will try to fulfill the desires. It's as simple as that. One who doesn't have this identification cannot be called as desirous person. Why? He doesn't have any desire to fulfill. Now here deha can mean not just body, not just gross body, but subtle body, causal body also. With BMI, with all three instruments. So only a person who is desirous, who is greedy, will have association, identification with the BMI. Vilakṣaṇaḥ, the person who is different from it will not have that kind of identification, and therefore such a person cannot be called as greedy. Kāmayitā kathaṃ syāt. How can that person be called as desirous or greedy or lusty? We cannot call anything like this. Atah, therefore, ato'rthasandhānaparatvameva. Artha means vishaya, objects. Sandhāna, sandhi, joining. Paratvam means considering it to be high. Considering the contact with the sense objects to be high means what? One who considers that my happiness is because of my contact with the sense objects. One who thinks that only when I have objects I can be happy. Only when I fulfill my desires I will be happy. One who thinks like this, that thinking alone, bhavabandhahetuḥ, is the cause of bondage of saṃsāro. Careful. Earlier also this point we have taken, but the word used there was little different. The word used there was shobhana adhyasa. Remember? Shobhana adhyasa. Shobhana adhyasa means, number one, you give satta adhyasa. You feel that the objects are real. Then next what happens? We feel that they are shobhana adhyasa, they are nice, they are good. They are good means what? They give me happiness. When I feel that the objects are real, number one, first adhyasa. Then I feel that the objects give me joy, step number two. Then what happens? Because I feel that objects are giving me joy, then the desire arises that I want that object. Why? Because I want to be happy. So then comes the desire. Then what? Bhedaprasaktyā. In between one word is there. ato'rthasandhānaparatvameva bhavabandhahetuḥ. How? Bhedaprasaktyā. By creating this difference. By this creating this difference means what? The self, the subject and the object are now considered to be different. And then what happens? Then I want that object to become happy. I want that person to be with me for me to remain happy. I want this person away from me so that I can be happy. My happiness suddenly depends upon the world of objects and beings. This is saṃsāra. This feeling that my happiness depends on the world is what is called as saṃsāra. And this has come how? ato'rthasandhānaparatvameva, considering that the objects will give me joy. That's what was called as vishaya anuchintana. That you feel that objects are giving me joy. So I am reminiscing the joy which I have received previously from the object. Then what? Then I want to do it again so that I will get that joy again. This Vishaya anuchintana alone is the cause of ego. So how does the logic work? Now let us see. Bhedaprasakti here is taken in a sense of object and the one who has desire for that object. This duality is called as bhedaprasakti. See carefully. Because I am doing satta adhyasa, because I feel that the objects are real, and I am doing shobhana adhyasa because I feel that objects are nice, they can give me joy, then comes desire that I want those objects for my pleasure. Now what has happened in this desire being born? That a bheda is created. I want object. So generally in Vedanta this is called as triputi. The object of desire, the subject who has desire, and the desire itself. So kāmya, object, kāmī, desirer or desirous, one who is kāma, desire. This bhedaprasakti is created because of what? Because we have done shobhana adhyasa, because of which there is kama, there is desire, there is ichha, and that has given rise to this triputi. Now, giving rise to triputi means what? Giving rise to triputi means reviving the ego. That the subject, which was so far the self alone, now has become ego. Feeler, thinker, perceiver, desirer, enjoyer, doer, etc. And therefore, this ato'rthasandhānaparatvameva, this vishaya anuchintanam, that alone is the cause of revival of the ego. So, even when that ego is destroyed because of this vishaya anuchintana, desire, and because of that bhedaprasakti, ego is revived and samsara comes back. Why? Because once ego is revived, it creates all kinds of modifications and we continue with samsara. Is this clear? Is this logic clear? Now somebody will say, Vedji, I understood, and because Shankaracharya is saying I am not saying anything, because I think he is more intellectual than me, but I have one doubt. What doubt now? See, generally we say that when the cause is destroyed, the effect is destroyed. How can through the effect the cause be revived? Isn't it? So far what we have been taught, that ego is the main cause, that ajnana, that adhyasa, that is the main cause. You destroy that and all the effects will automatically be destroyed. That's what we were taught. Isn't it? Now you are saying that even when the cause is removed, if you feed the effect, the cause will come back. That's what you are telling. Yes, that's what I am telling. No, how? Bhagavan Shankaracharya explains in the next verse. What does he say? Verse number 312. kāryapravardhanādbījapravṛddhiḥ paridṛśyate kāryanāśādbījanāśastasmātkāryaṃ nirodhayet kāryapravardhanādbījapravṛddhiḥ paridṛśyate kāryanāśādbījanāśastasmātkāryaṃ nirodhayet. Shankaracharya says, oh my dear, you are true, you are right, you are correct when you said that when the cause is destroyed, the effect should be destroyed, effect will be destroyed. But we also see in the world, kāryapravardhanādbījapravṛddhiḥ. When the karya effect, pravardhanāt, when that grows, bija, the seed, the cause, pravṛddhiḥ, paridṛśyate, is seen, is evident. That when the effect grows, the cause also grows. Please understand. So far what we have said, that when the cause grows, the effect grows. Cause is stronger, effect is stronger. Cause is destroyed, effect is destroyed. Now he is telling other way around. He is saying when the effect grows, we see that the cause also is growing. kāryanāśāt, and when the effect is destroyed, bījanāśah, the cause is also destroyed. Paridṛśyate, this is seen. Where this is seen? You see, in any tree you will see this. When the shoot is strong, the roots become stronger. When the shoot is strong, the roots are stronger. What is the cause here? Roots are the cause. Shoot has come later on. Right? So this is one way of seeing that karya becomes strong, karana, bija also becomes strong. That is one way. Second way of seeing is, when the tree is stronger and bigger, there will be more leaves, more flowers, more fruits. More fruits means more future seeds. One way of seeing it is that seed itself, that root itself is strengthened. Another is, growth of the tree also results in growth of future seeds, future causes. And also, when the leaves are cut again and again and again, the roots slowly start to reduce and they are slowly destroyed. Don't we see this? Those people who like gardening, don't we see this happening? We see this in the world. Correct. If you remove and uproot some tree from the base itself, yes, correct, you are right. When the cause is destroyed, effect is destroyed. But we also see that if you are done that also, but you keep feeding the effect, the cause will come back. I remember when I was once, what happened here itself, one tree, because of strong rain, fell down so hard that all the roots came out. And for a long time, they had kept the tree like that only. So I kept on asking them, why have you kept like that? Now it has come out from the root. It is of no use. They said, no, we just wait for some more time. What will happen? No. Then they tied the tree using the rope, etc. And in the next rain, when the leaves came back, slowly the leaves started to fade because there was no roots. Slowly, the roots came back, the leaves came back, everything happened. The whole tree, without being removed, it again started working. Then they removed the rope, etc. also. Why? Now not required. So it is true that when the cause is destroyed, effect is destroyed. But it is also true that when effects are fed, the cause also is fed. And when effects are destroyed, over time the cause will also be destroyed. kāryapravardhanādbījapravṛddhiḥ. kāryanāśādbījanāśah paridṛśyate. This is seen, this is evident. Tasmāt. Therefore, kāryaṃ nirodhayet. You control the effect. See the choice of words. Shankaracharya is saying, kāryaṃ nirodhayet. You control the effect. Means what? You are attacking the ego, the cause. But even after that, control the effect. Don't give way to that vishaya anuchintana. Don't keep brooding about the enjoyments of the sense pleasures. Don't do that. Why? Because the cause will return, will be revived. Don't do that. Control the effect. Now the same example which he has seen in the world, now he applies in our life, in the Vedanta. Now Drishtanta is over, now Dashtantika. What is that Dashtantika? Next verse. vāsanāvṛddhitaḥ kāryaṃ kāryavrddhyā ca vāsanā vardhate sarvathā puṃsaḥ saṃsāro na nivartate vāsanāvṛddhitaḥ kāryaṃ kāryavrddhyā ca vāsanā vardhate sarvathā puṃsaḥ saṃsāro na nivartate. He says, you see now what is happening. You have just come to understand that when the cause is destroyed, effects are destroyed. When effects are destroyed, causes are destroyed. Both things you have understood. So let me, for your ease, let me explain what. There is a cyclic relationship between cause and effect. And therefore, you feed anything, the other will automatically be fed. You destroy anything, other one will automatically get destroyed. Don't forget that the main topic going on is vasanas. In that vasana, he had taken this ahankara as the topic in between. Right? Now he says what you see, vāsanāvṛddhitaḥ, because of the vriddhi, growth in the vasanas, kāryaṃ vardhate, the effects grow. Vasana is the cause. When vasana grows, effects grow. kāryavrddhyā ca vāsanā. And when the effects grow, vasana grows further. What is this now? What is the effect we are talking about here? Remember those same effects. Vasana on the intellect level comes as kāmana or ichcha. That on the level of mind comes as vichara, thoughts. That on the level of body becomes karya, action. That strengthens the vasana. So more vasanas, more desires, more desires, more thoughts, more thoughts, more actions, more actions, more vasanas. It's a cyclic process. So you increase the vasanas, effects of vasanas will also increase. Now suppose you are not working on vasanas, but you are increasing the desires, you are increasing the thoughts, or you are increasing the actions, in turn the vasanas will again increase. Cyclic in nature. Therefore, vāsanāvṛddhitaḥ kāryaṃ vardhate, kāryavrddhyā vāsanāvṛddhate, sarvathā, in all ways. Therefore, puṃsaḥ of a person, saṃsārah na nivartate. Samsara is not removed. Samsara does not go away for a person. Why? Because of this cycle. The roots are sustaining the leaves, and the leaves in turn are strengthening the roots. So once the process starts, they just keep on strengthening each other and they become mighty powerful. Suppose you attack the cause but continue to allow the effects to run, the cause comes back. Suppose you work on the effects, the cause is strong, it keeps creating more and more effects. Therefore, O student, what? Work on both. Or work on one thing without paying any attention to the other one. Don't keep feeding it. You work on removing vasanas, work on removing ahamkara, no problem. But don't do vishaya anuchintan. Don't say that anyways I am working on the cause, how does it matter? No, it matters. It matters. You remember we were seeing a few sessions back, we were seeing the example of game of chess. And we were seeing that unless that enemy king is attacked and defeated, the game is not over. But in that also, we have to do both things, isn't it? We have to keep attacking and killing the soldiers, etc., and keep attacking the king also. If not, they will attack us. You have to do both. Pay attention to what the effects are doing and also attack the cause. Why? Because if you just attack the cause and effects are let loose, the effect will revive the cause. In chess also, even that small pawn, no? When it reaches the other end of the enemy, it revives the queen. It can become queen, or actually it can become anything for that matter, rook, or isn't it? Even in that game. So don't just neglect the effect. Pay attention. Make sure that you are not reminiscing any of the pleasures. Why? Because it will revive the cause. Therefore, Arjuna, this is the cycle, and because of this cycle, samsara is not removed. Further he explains the same cycle now. Let us see. Verse number 314. Saṃsārabandhavicchittyai taddvayaṃ pradahedyatiḥ vāsanāvṛddhiretābhyāṃ चिन्तया क्रियया बहिः saṃsārabandhaviccittyai taddvayaṃ pradahedyatiḥ vāsanāvṛddhiretābhyāṃ चिन्तया क्रियया बहिः. There is also a pathabheda where the third pada is vāsanā preryate hyantah चिन्तया क्रियया बहिः. We will see the meanings of both. What it says, vāsanāvṛddhiretābhyāṃ. The growth in vasanas happens because of these two things. Etābhyāṃ, because of these two things. Which two things? Chintaya kriyaya. Chinta means thoughts or desires. Kriya means action. So the vasanas increase either because you are thinking over it or you are acting over it. Now if you see the pathabheda, it says vasana preryate. Vasana is what we say, preryate is inspired or it comes back. Antah chintaya kriyaya bahihi. Means what? Inside you are thinking and outside you are acting. These two are the causes of growth of vasanas. Internal thinking and external action strengthens the vasanas. So here thinking includes desires, thoughts, everything. So in short, he has put 3 steps: vasana, chinta, kriya. Vasana expresses inside as chinta, outside as kriya. Now if we either think over it, we are not acting, but thinking over it, even that will increase vasanas. And if we are acting, doing something even without chinta, that also will strengthen the vasanas. Isn't it? This is what we see in our everyday life also. Many times we say that I am not acting over it. I am just thinking. But that just thinking is only creating so many vasanas. So which is what? Chinta, this antah chinta, this internal thinking over it. Sometimes what we do is, there is no thinking involved, but there is a particular action which we keep on doing, and because of which the strong impression vasana is created. So this chinta and kriya, thoughts and actions, they are strengthening the vasanas. Therefore, saṃsārabandhavicchittyai, for the destruction vichittyai, for the destruction of bondage of samsara, of this bondage of transmigration, of this cycle, taddvayaṃ, those two. Which two? The two effects, chinta and kriya, yatihi pradahet, the seeker should burn. Vasana is strengthened by two things: chinta in the internal, in the inside, and action in the outside. Therefore, a seeker must destroy these two things in order to finally put a death knell on vasana. Vasanas we cannot contact. Vasanas are on the causal level. We don't even know unless they come as desires or thoughts. So when they come at the level of mind and intellect as desires and thoughts, when they come on the level of senses and body as the action, at that point stop them. When the desire arises, cut it out. When the desire prompts an action, cut the connection. Work on them, work on the effect in order to remove the cause. See, actually, we may say that this cycle is a problem. We just now we saw, no, the vasanas will, create more vasanas, create more desires will create more thoughts will create more actions will strengthen more vasanas. Vijji, this is very bad thing for us. Actually, it is good thing for us. Why? Because then we can work on the level we can and still able to break the cycle. If it was one-way street where only the cause is creating effects, that's it, then to reach up to the cause would have been very, very difficult. Now, since the effects are only feeding the cause, you work on the effects, you are actually working on the cause. Working on vasanas, difficult. Working on desires, less difficult. Working on thoughts, still less difficult. Working on actions, easier as compared to the other three. Therefore, work on the effects, which is easier as compared to working on the cause. Why? Because the effects are only going to strengthen. So, if you work on the effects and you start reducing the effects, automatically the cause will be reduced. Selfish vasanas will create selfish desires, will have selfish thoughts, will produce selfish actions. And you keep on doing those selfish actions, selfish vasanas will be strengthened. But you start working on each selfish action, start making it selfless, slowly, vasanas are changing, desires are changing, thoughts are changing, actions will change, and the other kind of cycle will start. So just as there was this impurity creating cycle, now you can create purifying cycle by simply working on the action, which is the grossest. Why? Because you work on that grossest, slowly the subtle things also will change. Are you getting this? In Bhagavad Gita chapter 3, Bhagavan Shri Krishna, explaining this point, has said that though people gain knowledge, we see that they still make mistakes. Often we see that even doctors who understand all kinds of negative effects of smoking, drinking, etc., still smoke and drink. Why? Because intellect has understood, but the vasana factor has not been changed. Reason Bhagavan Shri Krishna gives there is, he says, a person acts in the world according to his or her own prakriti. Sadrusham cheshtate swasyaha prakriter jnanavanapi prakritim yanti bhutani nigrahah kim karishyati. You may have understood, but while acting, your nature is automatically flowing into action. So if you want to change the action, you have to change the nature. And how to change the nature? By changing the action. You see how beautiful this is? Nature here is vasanas, ragadveshas, likes and dislikes, which create desires, thoughts and actions. You start working on the actions, slowly the nature starts to change. The vasanas start to change. There are different kinds of desires now. There are different kinds of thoughts, different kind of actions. Look at our own life, 15 years back, 20 years back. What was our goal? What was our nature? And today we see that there is some difference, I am sure. How the change has happened? Because we started changing our actions. We started putting positive actions into our life. Listen to some talks. Listen to some spiritual lectures. Read something. Do some sadhana. We started working on actions. Slowly the vasanas changed. The things which used to attract us 15 years back are no more attracting us now. Even the thoughts are not coming about those things. There was a point of time where we could not even stay without reading the newspaper, without seeing the news. But today we are happy to do that. How this change has happened? Because we started working on the action. Because of that, slowly the vasanas changed over a period of time. It will not happen. Yesterday what I was doing, today I will not be able to. That will not happen overnight. But we have seen over 10 years, 15 years it has happened. Means what? It is possible. Now, if that can change, even this can change. So, though it looks like that the cyclic nature of this vasana, kama, karma is terrible, but it is also good for us. Why? Because then we can work on the grossest and the subtle will automatically change. Advantage of cycle, breaking the cycle, is you can break any point of the cycle and the cycle will break. The wheel, you can attack any point and it will be broken. If it is a singular line chain, it's difficult. But since it is cyclic, it is good for us. So we start working on the effect, automatically the cause starts to change. Okay. So what he says here, vāsanāvṛddhiretābhyāṃ, vasanas are growing because of these two things. Chintaya antah, inside by thoughts, kriyaya bahihi, outside by actions. Now please note this point also. Vasanas increase by both. It is not said that vasanas increased only by action. So don't say that I am not acting but I am mentally thinking. Even that will increase vasanas. Again in 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan calls it as mithyācārasya uchyate. One who controls the outside organs but with the mind keeps on thinking about the sense pleasures is called as mithyāchāra, is called as a hypocrite. Why hypocrite? Because outside it looks like he has become a seeker, he is meditating, etc. But inside the mind is going on thinking about the sense pleasures. That will only increase the vasanas, it is not going to decrease it. So inside by thoughts, outside by actions, vasanas are growing. Therefore, saṃsārabandhavicchittyai, in order to destroy the samsara, bondage of samsara, taddvayaṃ yatihi pradahedyatiḥ, the seeker should destroy these two, chinta and karma, kriya, kama and karma. So avidya, kama, karma, you understand. Now avidya is here representing vasana. So vasana, kama, karma. You start working on kama and karma, the vasanas will start to change. And here when it is said it is to be destroyed, what do you mean by destroyed? If it is selfish actions, turn them into selfless actions. If there are selfless actions, turn them into dedicated actions. See this entire process we have already seen. Use all that. Tamasic actions, convert them slowly into rajasic actions. Then vasanas also will start becoming rajasic, desires also will be rajasic. Then the rajasic actions start changing them into sattvic actions. Then the sattvic desires will come, sattvic vasanas will come, sattvic desires will come. Now from the sattvic action, go beyond. How? By dedicated actions. Not just duty, but performing it for God. Then what? No new vasanas are created. Then only sattvic vasanas are there. They are exhausting here. It's like an exhaust fan which is put in between. So vasanas, desires, actions, and actions instead of increasing the vasanas are getting exhausted. So then now it has become a one-way street. Vasanas come out only to get exhausted. Why? Because now I am dedicating those actions to God. See what a beautiful philosophy. Gurudev used to give lot of importance to these kind of verses. And he will explain this is a vasana exhaustion method. He used to call karma yoga as. Why? Because no new vasanas are created and old vasanas are exhausted. But it has to happen slowly. From tamasic actions to rajasic, from rajasic to sattvic, from sattvic to beyond. How? Through dedicated performance. This way, we need to destroy the chinta and kriya means what? Start changing them. Okay, that is what is said. Let us continue. He says that now because of these two only, the vasanas are growing, and that is what is called as saṃsāro. Let us see verse number 315. Tābhyāṃ pravardhamānā sā सूते संसृतिमात्मनः त्रयाणां चक्षयोपायः सर्वावस्थासु सर्वदा. Next verse also in continuation. Sarvatra sarvatah sarva brahmamatravalokanaih sadbhavavasanādārdhyāt taddvayaṃ layamashnuté. ताभ्यां प्रवर्धमाना सा सूते संसृतिमात्मनः त्रयाणां चक्षयोपायः सर्वावस्थासु सर्वदा सर्वत्र सर्वतः सर्व ब्रह्ममात्रावलोकनैः सद्भाववासनादार्ढ्यात् तत्त्रयं लयमश्नुते. ताभ्याम प्रवर्धमाना, strengthened by those two, सा संसृतिः सूते, आत्मनः संसृतिः सूते. All the pronouns are only used. Strengthened by those two, she creates samsara for the jiva. Now strengthened by who two? Which two? Strengthened by chinta and kriya. Sa, she means who? Vasana. Samsritihi sute, creates samsara, atmanah for the person. So strengthened by the chinta and kriya, the vasana then creates this samsara for the individual, for the jiva. Now what Shankaracharya says is that there is one Brahmastra is there. Not the movie Brahmastra. Nowadays that is what has happened. Brahmastra means the final solution. Brahma itself is astra. Trayanam chakshayopayah. So far Shankaracharya was telling that therefore work on the two, the effects, so that the cause will go. Now he says there is one method by which all three will be destroyed together. All three, cause, effect, everything together. That is best, Vedji. Why? Because then no problem. Just now there was a problem. If you increase the cause, the effect is increasing. If you don't do that, if you increase the effect, then again cause is increasing. You just tell one thing, cause, effect, everything destroyed at once. What is that? Trayanam chakshaya upayah. The means of destruction of trayanam, of all these three, is what? Sarva avasthasu. In all states. Sarvada, always. Sarvatra, that's why I said it is continuation. These two verses are together. Sarvatra, everywhere. Sarvatah, in all ways. In all respects. Sarva, everything. Brahma matra avalokanaihi. You see everything as Brahman alone. There is also Patabheda, Brahma matra avalokanam. Both mean the same. Avalokanaihi, through that, or Brahma matra avalokanam, seeing that. It's one and the same. So what is the Brahmastra here? In all states, all the time, everywhere, in everything, see Brahman alone. Sarvada, sarva avasthasu, sarvatra, sarvatah, sarva brahma matra avalokanam. That will do what? All the three it will destroy. No need to work on effects separately, no need to attack cause separately, everything is destroyed together. Sadbhava vasanādbījapravṛddhiḥ. Now he calls it as Sadbhava Vasana. You have to work on vasanas, no? Now I will tell you the best kind of vasana. What is that best kind of vasana? Satbhava. Satbhava means seeing that sat existence everywhere. Brahma bhava vasana. Dardhyat, by making it strong, by strengthening this sadbhava vasana, by strengthening the what we say, the feeling of Brahman alone everywhere. Tattvayaṃ, those three things, layam ashnute, they are dissolved, they are annihilated. Which three things? Vasana, kriya, vasana, chinta, kriya. Vasana, kama, karma. Avidya, kama, karma, whatever way you want to call. It is one and the same. These three will be destroyed, dissolved, annihilated by this sadbhava vasana dardhyat. This is actually the path of knowledge. Why Raman Maharshi etc. says that the path of knowledge is straightforward and the easiest etc. because of this reason. That it directly attacks everything together and destroys everything together. You don't have to do this first and then that first and then that, nothing. Nothing. Don't try to, I have bad habits, so then to stop the bad habits, I must cultivate good habits from tamasic to rajasic, rajasic to sattvic. All that is not required. Just create this Brahma Bhava, everything will be destroyed. Vedji, if there was Brahmastra available, why all other methods are told? Because each one of us is not able to bear the power of Brahmastra. We cannot all of us use Brahmastra. Why? Because just as Brahmastra is powerful, the person using it also should have that power. Anybody cannot wield that astra and use it. So this Brahma Bhava, this Sadbhava Vasana is not possible for everyone. Then what to do? Again he goes back to the method and he says, if you are not able to do this, then at least start working on the effects, start removing the cause, and what I have explained before, that is for you. There is another way. You see if you can do it. If not, go back to the old method. Start working on the effects separately, start working on the cause separately, and make sure that even after cause is destroyed, don't pay attention to effects, otherwise cause will return. All this is taught. Why? Because everybody is not capable of this Brahmastra, of this strong Brahma Bhava, Sadbhava. Okay? Shankaracharya is so compassionate that he is giving us everything, not keeping anything with him. Even though we don't deserve it, even though we will not be able to follow, he says that there is. It is my duty to tell you that there is this. Whether you will be able to do it or not, that is up to you, but it is my duty to tell, and according to that, he tells. Right? Now, he goes back that if this Brahmastra is not possible for you, then what? We will see in the next session. Sufficient for today. Beautiful, beautiful verses. We will conclude. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.